Leave. You're not welcome here. My father said that to me on a cold November evening, standing in the doorway of the house I grew up in. I still had my overnight bag in my hand. I hadn't even stepped inside yet. Behind him I could see the hallway lamp on, the same one my mother insisted on keeping by the door, in case someone comes home late. I guess that didn't apply to me anymore. He didn't raise his voice. That would have been easier to process. Anger you can respond to. Calm rejection just settles into your bones. Dad, what are you talking about? He didn't answer right away. He just looked at me like I was someone he used to know. You made your choice, he said finally. Now live with it. And then he closed the door. Not slammed, not dramatic, just closed. I stood there for a full minute, staring at the wood grain like it might rearrange itself into something that made sense. It didn't. 3 hours later, my phone rang. My mother. I almost didn't answer, but I did. Evelyn, she said, her voice tight, like she was already halfway into a conversation I hadn't agreed to have. We need to talk about the loan. I leaned against the wall of my apartment, still in my coat. What loan? The business loan, she said. It's in your name. Silence. Mom, I said slowly, I don't have a business loan. There was a pause. Then very carefully she said, your signature is on the documents. That was the moment everything shifted. Not the door. Not my father's words. That sentence. Your signature is on the documents. My name is Evelyn Carter. I'm 33. I live in Chicago and I work in risk compliance for a financial firm downtown. My entire job is identifying inconsistencies in contracts. I know what a real signature looks like, and I know what a forged one feels like before I even see it. 4 months earlier, I got a message from my younger brother, Liam. We're finally doing it, he wrote, opening the restaurant. Liam had always been the dreamer in the family. Big ideas, bigger risks, and absolutely no patience for details. That part had always fallen to me. When we were kids, I was the one filling out forms, reminding him of deadlines, fixing the messes he didn't even realize he'd made. I thought we'd grown out of that. Apparently, we hadn't. The message was followed by photos. An empty space with exposed brick walls, sketches of a layout, a logo mock-up. Carter & Co. Our last name. I remember staring at that for a long time. You're naming it after the family? I asked when I called him. Yeah, he said, excited. It sounds solid. Trustworthy. Trustworthy. I should have paid more attention to that word. Where are you getting the funding? I asked. There was a slight hesitation. Figuring it out, he said. Dad's helping. That should have been my second warning. My father didn't help. He controlled. That I told him I was happy for him, wished him luck, and went back to my life. I didn't ask for details. I didn't offer money. I didn't sign anything. Or at least, I didn't think I did. Back in my apartment after my mother's call, I opened my laptop and logged into my banking portal. Nothing unusual. No alerts, no loans. Then I checked my credit report. And there it was. A business loan, $120,000, issued 6 weeks ago, co-signed by Evelyn Carter. My hands went cold. I requested the documents immediately. They arrived the next morning. PDF, 12 pages. I didn't rush it. That's the first thing you learn in compliance. If you rush, you miss things. Page 1, loan details. Page 2, repayment terms. Page 3, guarantor agreement. My name, printed cleanly. And at the bottom, a signature. Evelyn Carter. I stared at it for a long time. At first glance, it looked right. Same general shape, same flow. But the pressure was wrong. Too heavy on the downstrokes. My signature is consistent, controlled, slight right slant. This one leaned too far. The E-loop was closed. Mine never is. Whoever signed it had seen my signature. But they didn't understand it. They copied it. They didn't write it. I picked up my phone and called my father. He answered on the second ring. You need to explain something to me, I said. What is it now? He replied, already irritated. There's a $120,000 loan in my name, for Liam's restaurant. Silence. Then, so you saw it. Not confusion, not denial, recognition. You signed my name, I said. We handled it, he replied. That word again, handled. You forged my signature. We didn't have a choice. There it was, the phrase people use when they've already decided your consent doesn't matter. You always say no to risk, he continued. This was an opportunity. It was fraud. It was family. No, I said, my voice steady now. It was theft. He exhaled sharply. You're overreacting. I'm reporting it. The silence on the other end stretched. You wouldn't do that to your own family, he said. I looked at the contract on my screen. My name, his handwriting. You already did something to your own family, I said. I'm just responding to it. I hung up. The next 48 hours were loud. Calls, messages, emails. My aunt telling me I was being dramatic, my cousin saying, it's just paperwork. My mother crying, saying, we thought you'd understand. Not one person asked if the signature was actually mine. They didn't need to. They had a story. And in that story, I was the problem. So I did what I always do. I documented everything. Every call, every message, every contradiction. Then I contacted the bank's fraud department. Formal report. Attached documents. Copy of my passport signature. Statement of non-authorization. I didn't threaten. I didn't accuse. I just laid out facts. Because facts don't need volume. They just need to be clear. 3 days later, the bank responded. They were initiating a signature verification process. All collection activity against me was suspended. That was the first confirmation. They saw it too. A week passed. Liam called, not to apologize, to negotiate. Can't you just let it go? He said. The restaurant is already open. I leaned back in my chair. You built a business on my name without asking me. It's not like that. It's exactly like that. If you report this, it'll shut everything down. That's not my decision, I said. That's the consequence. You're really going to do this? He asked. I paused. Not because I was unsure, because I was done explaining. I'm not doing anything, I said. I'm telling the truth. He hung up. 2 days later, I got the final determination. The signature did not match verified samples. The guarantor agreement was void. The loan responsibility reverted to the primary borrower, Liam, and my father. I read the email twice, then once more, just to feel it settle. No relief, no victory. Just clarity. That evening, my mother called again. Her voice was softer this time. They're asking us to start repayment, she said. I know. We might lose the house. I closed my eyes. Not in guilt. In recognition. This was the part where I used to step in. Fix it. Cover it. Be the responsible one. Not this time. You should have asked me, I said. You would have said no. Yes. A long pause. I don't understand how you can be so cold, she whispered. I looked around my apartment, my space, my life, my name. I'm not cold, I said. I'm just not yours to use. The line went quiet. For the first time in years, I didn't try to fill that silence. I let it stay. Because sometimes silence isn't rejection, it's boundary. 3 months later, the restaurant closed. The debt didn't. My father sold his truck. Liam moved into a smaller apartment. The family stopped calling as often. Then slowly, a few messages started coming in, short ones. I'm sorry, I didn't know the full story. I should have asked. I read them. I didn't rush to respond. For the first time, I let people sit with what they'd said, and what they hadn't. One evening, Liam called again. Different tone. Quieter. I messed up, he said. Yes, I replied. I thought you'd fix it. Like always. That sentence hit harder than everything else. Because it was true. I'm not doing that anymore, I said. I know. We sat in silence for a moment. Not hostile, just honest. I don't hate you, he said. I don't hate you either. But things are different now. Yeah, I said, they are. After the call, I walked to the window. The city lights reflected in the glass, layering over my own reflection. For a long time, I thought being strong meant carrying everything, fixing everything, holding everyone together. But strength isn't about absorbing damage. It's about deciding where it stops. My name is Evelyn Carter, and my signature belongs to me. Not to family, not to expectation, not to anyone who thinks access means ownership. Nobody writes it but me. And that's not selfish. That's the first honest thing I ever learned.